Recently, the Food Network published an article that told people go ahead and just eat conventional produce. Don't worry about this organic stuff, it really isn't a big deal. And in that article, they mentioned that most of these foods showed residues of pesticides and weed killers that were less than the EPA recommended. But I want to say something about that because the EPA is telling the people in East Palestine, Ohio, that it's okay. Don't worry about the chemical spills in your area. The EPA standards are really, for me, not robust enough, and I choose to look at my own research and move forward. So part of what I believe is that little amounts of both good or bad can make a big difference in your health. So drinking water every day when you're not used to it, over time makes a huge difference. Well, all these chemicals, we're talking about one chemical at a time when you look at scientific research, but we don't ever look at the soup of chemicals and what this all does to us. So I want to respond to Food Network with a study as well. This one, and I'm going to read some of this information because it's a lot and it's super important. This is a study in the journal Environmental Research, and this was so cool. It's a 12-day study, so it's very short. They took 4 families, and every day they took the urine from those families to test it for chemicals, pesticides, and weed killers. So the first 6 days, those 4 families all ate their regular conventional diet. And at the end of that, they tested the urine, and they found these chemicals in the urine. So for 6 days, these families ate all organic. This is what happened. So the first type of chemical, and forgive me if I mispronounce some of these, are organophosphates. And organophosphates are pesticides. They are considered serious risks for serious risk factors for cancer, kidney failure, lung damage, and abnormal brain development. That's a lot. So after 6 days of organic eating, the urine test showed a 95% drop in this type of chemical, and specifically malathion, and a 60% drop in another associated chemical. That's huge in 6 days. The second type of chemical they tested for is also a pesticide known as neonics. And they are widely used, they're the most widely used pesticide in the whole world. As of 2013, approximately 95% of corn, canola, sorghum, and sugar beets, and half of all soybeans in the U.S. were treated with these chemicals. These chemicals have been associated with a lot of central nervous system disorders, including Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. It also may contribute to gene expression linked to breast cancer in women. So some pretty nasty stuff. After 6 days of eating all organic foods, the levels of the widely used pesticide fell by 83% in the test families. In 6 days, that's huge. All right, now we go to pyrethroids, and these are also used on a lot of crops in the U.S. They have been shown to be toxic also to pollinators and to fish, beneficial insects and fish. These pesticides have been associated also with neurological changes that resemble ADHD. And after 6 days of eating organic, these pyrethroid levels dropped 50% in the test families. Just think if they continued organic for longer than 6 days. 6 days is really not that long. The next one is 2,4-D. And 2,4-D was a part of that horrible concoction, Agent Orange. If you're in my age group, you may know people that were in Vietnam who were affected by Agent Orange, and it's horrendous what that can do. So after 6 days on an all-organic diet, 2,4-D levels in the urine of test families fell by 37%. First of all, I can't even believe they allow some of these to still be used on our food crops. that's a whole different subject, but one that people really should be aware of. So part of the point of the Food Network's article was that, look, people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables anyway, so let's not do anything to discourage them any further. And I get that. And particularly low-income families may not be able to afford traditional organic produce. I'm a huge fan of a backyard garden. That is not so hard to do, and you can raise things very easily. It's a good learning experience for your family, especially your children. When I had a garden in my backyard, my kids are grown now, but when they were little, they would eat vegetables that they never would eat if I just fixed them and served them, because they helped to grow them themselves. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope this sets the record straight that there really is a difference between organic and conventional.